What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 12. Sleeper picks.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to give you some of my top DFS sleeper picks, super low priced and low ownership players that could crush value this week and give your lineup an advantage over the field. These are risky plays, meant for large tournaments only. Don't go all in on any of these guys. They are high risk, high reward picks. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Oh, and good news, guys. Make sure to stay tuned to the very end of this video because we removed the box that was popping up and blocking the lineup. So now you can see a full lineup using these picks that we made in this video if you stay to the very end. Okay, guys, NFL Week 12. Let's take a look at the quarterback position. So my favorite sleeper pick, and this is even possibly my favorite just overall play on the slate this week, I like Jimmy Garoppolo from the San Francisco 49ers playing the Minnesota Vikings, who have the 4th worst defense overall, and they give up the 6th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo has averaged 17.5 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 3 rush attempts per game. He's only going to be about 4% owned, projected at 17.1 fantasy points here in Week 12. He's $5,700 DraftKings salary, $800 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 49 points scored in this game, with the 49ers favored by 3. So I love this pick because of a bunch of reasons. It's a somewhat high-scoring game, a close, competitive game, a fantastic matchup, a home game, and their running back is injured. They're down to their 3rd string running back. So I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get a ton of pass attempts in this game. Plus, their wide receivers are playing well. You got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and you got George Kittle. They're all healthy and playing well right now in this fantastic matchup. And he's low salary, only $5,700 DraftKings salary, and his price is low on FanDuel. Only $800 more on FanDuel, so I love that price on both sites. All that combined with low ownership, this is my favorite quarterback play on the slate and also my sleeper pick. So I like Jimmy Garoppolo here versus the Minnesota Vikings.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. So we did mention that the running back for the San Francisco 49ers is injured. Let me see, what's his name? It's escaping me here. Yeah, they were down to their backup running back, Elijah Mitchell, and it looks like Elijah Mitchell was limited in practice, and he's been demoted to running back 2. So it looks like Jeff Wilson Jr. has a pretty good chance of being the starting running back here this week. Now, you'll have to keep an eye on the injury news to see if Elijah Mitchell does play or not. But if Elijah Mitchell is out, that could be an interesting play for Jeff Wilson Jr. He's only going to be about 1% owned, and he got 19 rush attempts and 2 pass targets last game. So if he's going to get the start, he could get a bunch of volume in this game. He's got a good running back matchup, but I do prefer Jimmy Garoppolo, stacking him with 1 or 2 of the wide receivers from the 49ers. So I'm going to move on from this pick. I'm not a huge fan of this Jeff Wilson Jr. play, but he would be a deep sleeper pick if Elijah Mitchell is not going to play this week. So the guy that I really like, my top sleeper pick at the running back position, is Melvin Gordon from the Denver Broncos playing the LA Chargers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the third most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Melvin Gordon has averaged 13.2 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 11.8 rush attempts per game and 2.8 pass targets per game. He's only going to be about 5% owned, projected at 12.2 fantasy points here in week 12. He's $5,300 DraftKings salary and $1,000 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 48 points scored in this game, with the Broncos trailing by 2.5. So, fantastic matchup here for Melvin Gordon. The Chargers have not been able to stop the run all season long, and Melvin Gordon has scored 10, 18, and 20 fantasy points in the last 3 weeks off of 9, 21, and 10 rush attempts on top of 4, 3, and 3 pass targets. So pretty decent volume, low price tag. The matchup I don't think gets any better. The Chargers have just been getting decimated by the running back position and relatively low ownership at only 5%. So I like Melvin Gordon here versus the LA Chargers.
Real quick guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. My sleeper pick at the wide receiver position, I like Tyler Boyd from the Cincinnati Bengals playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the 10th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Tyler Boyd has averaged 10.8 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.3 pass targets per game. He's been on the field for 74% of the snaps, only going to be about 4% owned, projected at 10.7 fantasy points here in week 12, and he's only $5,100 DraftKings salary, $700 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 44.5 points scored in this game, with the Bengals favored by 3.5. So good matchup here, and Tyler Boyd has a fantastic cornerback matchup. If we go to the draft dashboard, if we log in here and we go to the news, you see we link the wide receiver cornerback matchups, and you can see Tyler Boyd right at the top, being matched up with Trey Norwood, who's giving up 0.46 fantasy points per route. So Tyler Boyd is in a fantastic spot here this week, and he scored 12, 2, and 20 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 8, 2, and 8 pass targets. So he's played really well this year, and he's got a great matchup, and he's only going to be about 4% owned at a low price tag. Not sure why that ownership is so low. So I like Tyler Boyd here versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, let's take a look at the tight end position. Now, if you're not going to play Melvin Gordon, or if you want to stack him up here, I do like Noah Fant from the Denver Broncos playing the LA Chargers, who have the second worst, who give up the second most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Noah Fant has averaged 10.9 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.6 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 83% of the snaps, going to be about 4% owned,
projected at 10.2 fantasy points here in week 12. He's 4,600 DraftKings salary, 1,300 more on FanDuel. So Noah Fant's played really well this season. He's getting plenty of volume. He's got a fantastic matchup, and his salary's low, his ownership is low. So I like Noah Fant here versus the LA Chargers. Now, a deep sleeper pick for you here at the tight end position. I like Ryan Griffin from the New York Jets playing the Houston Texans, who have the second worst defense overall. They give up the third most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Now, Ryan Griffin has scored 7, 3, and 13 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 4, 2, and 7 pass targets. He's on the field for 64% of the snaps, but he's only going to be about 2% owned. And the reason I like this pick is because he's only 2,600 DraftKings salary. He is 2,200 more on FanDuel, but I love that DraftKings price. Just a super cheap play here. A guy that's got a fantastic matchup. He's been getting pretty decent volume the past 3 games, and his production hasn't been horrible. Scored 7 and 13 fantasy points 2 out of his last 3 games off of 4 and 7 pass targets. So I think he's a pretty interesting deep sleeper pick if you need to save some salary. So I like Ryan Griffin here versus the Houston Texans.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smackety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.